meeting is being held in accordance, excuse me, with the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, notice of which was sent to the record in the Star Ledger and was posted on the municipal bulletin board.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sims. Councilmember Pataglia. Mayor LaBrus.
Here. You have that proclamation? Or we didn't do that tonight? This one on shows. Veteran
We
friendly.
need to do the flag salute first, and there's a presentation, but it's not by us.
Okay.
And the proclamation is for the next meeting.
All right, very good. So would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we have a presentation now, correct?
There is, are they here?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I
Okay,
didn't
please
set
come
it up,
forward.
so I.
How are you?
Good, Mayor. I was hoping maybe you could get a photo op.
Sure.
And maybe you could hold a sign, have all the members of the council together, take a shot.
Yep.
do a little-
Absolutely.
What's the sign?
This is for the parking for the veterans, for the designated spots.
For you up here by the dais or up front? Up front? Yes, maybe yourself designate there, hold it there, and that's the sign. So, just wanted to say very quickly, I am with the New Jersey State Veteran Chamber of Commerce. So one of the things we do is advocacy for veterans, specifically for veterans of the state, which we try to make a more level playing ground so veterans could compete in the marketplace. And what Hackensack has just done is a big help to veterans. It's putting your money where the mouth is. Rather than just having sentiments saying we appreciate veterans, this municipality has decided to actually do something for us. Some of the most important provisions is parking sign right here, be put up in the municipality, and places they choose to put in. And the other big thing we'll be doing is getting 6% opportunity to go for municipal bids. So that's gonna help quite a bit. So I'm very appreciative on behalf of New Jersey State Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, everyone here at this council. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
One
more picture?
I don't think one person was smiling. Ready, 1, 2, 3. That's good, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And just quickly, the city's more than happy to help with this. Our veterans deserve it. You know, veterans, a lot going on. I've worked on different committees with the veterans. The county's been very, very instrumental on stopping veterans homelessness here in Bergen County. Bergen County is the first county in the United States to totally have 0 homeless veterans at one time. So that was quite an accomplishment. But this is a great thing. And the county for working on that. But this is just one more step into helping our veterans. When our veterans come back, they should, they shouldn't have to sleep on the ground when they get here. They should have places to live. They should have housing, and they should have help and our support when they go. So we can do everything we do on an everyday basis. We owe it to them. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
What's that?
Anyway, okay, back to business. Oh, yes, we do. Need a motion for the approval of the minutes for the Cow and regular meeting of December 17, 2019.
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? And with that, we go right to the city manager's report.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council and invited guests. This is the city manager's report for January 14, 2020. The FAA needs to hear from our residents in regards to the new flight plan. Please take a flyer in the council chambers or visit our website for details. Comments must be submitted before January 30th. Deputy Mayor Canestrino, do you have anything you would like to add since?
Just quickly, I'll hold up a larger copy of the sign. You know, it's time. We've all been working together as a city to have this alternate flight path to get the planes just not be flying directly over Prospect and the Hackensack Medical Center, and it's becoming a reality. The environmental assessment is complete. Everything right now is on target for the end of March for this to be approved. So there is a 1-month time frame for folks to give comment, and that time frame ends on January 30th. So these are available here, and the information is on our website as well. It's very simple. You go to the website that's listed here, and there's a button there that says submit comment. You click it. You have to enter very little information, your name and your email, and a simple comment. They asked us for positive comments. Should you feel that way? That, yes, this will be a big help to the city of Hackensack. They'll be flying over Route 17. The noise will be better. Most importantly, the safety of our residents will be better. They're looking for positive comments from us because the city of Hackensack has, in this whole area, our noise levels are the highest. Our safety concerns are the highest. So it would be great, you guys came out and helped me before when I needed you to submit complaints. We got the highest number of folks submitting complaints in the area. This is the final step now, is to log on here quickly and submit a positive comment about this new flight path. And let's all hope things come together. The end of March, we'll be seeing, you know, a nice sense of relief from the aircraft flying over our city. Thank you.
Before we move forward, Steve, you have just whatever litigation we spoke about? Did you bring that up?
I think we talked about all, I think,
Did he say it public?
which one?
Did you announce it publicly that we spoke on details in the back?
Yeah, there wasn't anything.
Yeah, I think the
different than what
cases
you
I
said.
announced.
It was
were the
okay.
cases
It was
we
nothing
talked
other
about.
than-
Just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure we were.
Oh, yeah, and I would have announced if there was anything else. I
Thank
don't
you.
recall, I don't think there were any other cases, right?
No.
There wasn't.
Okay, next.
Next on my list is the building department updates. 74 notices were written, 108 inspections made, 10 summonses issued, 16 CCOs, 30 OPR requests were fulfilled. Be sure to check the Hackensack newsletter that was recently mailed to your home. Details of the 2020 digital calendar and the sanitation recycling pickup schedule was included. Christmas trees will be picked up every Wednesday in January. I also learned from a resident today that there is an app that I'm going to research. I don't know that to be 100% true, but based on the information supplied, that you can go to Recycling Coach and download the app, and that will send you a reminder and inform you. So I've been in meetings all day, and I haven't had time to research it, but the source seems to be pretty good. So I'm going to obviously publicize to the public on the website and certainly for the city, which would be an easy reminder for those that are savvy that know how to use a smartphone. And I thank Regina for that information, and that would complete the city manager's report.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, right into new business, resolution 01-20.
A resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 42-2019, an ordinance amending Chapter 90 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Food and Drink to establish a new article governing mobile food vendors and to set forth certain provisions for licensing and regulating same. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Okay, I need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to the food truck ordinance, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 42-2019 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
And I might just note, I mean, we'll reach out now that this is adopted to, health and the zoning office and, make sure, because now the trick of this is going to be, proper implementation of it now that these food trucks are available. Probably will need to update the website and do some other things so that this can actually result in food trucks being actually licensed to be able to operate. And we'll report back, if issues arise. We talked about this being a way to open the door and see how it goes and determine whether there should be further changes in the future. So we'll let you know if that occurs.
Thank you. Resolution 02-20.
Okay, Mayor. It was just brought to my attention that this particular stuff was not, the planning board didn't get to it, it wasn't on their agenda, but the public hearing has been advertised, so we can hold the public hearing, and then we'll just table
Correct.
for the vote. So we need a motion to open, well, I'll read it first. It's a final adoption of ordinance number 56-2019, an ordinance adopting the Prospector Railroad Essex Beach redevelopment plan for an area in need of rehabilitation consisting of Block 223, lots 1 and 7, and 11 to 24, Block 226.01, lots 1.01 to 1.04 and 3, Block 226.02, lots 1 to 15, and 19 to 27.
This is the one non.
Block 227, lots 1 to 32, Block
This
228,
one
lots
not
1 to
presented the planning
3,
board yet.
6, 9 to 30, and 40 to 49. Block 229, lots 1, 11 to 14, 28 to 43, and 46. Block 230, lots 1, 3.0 to 7, 12 to 19, 21 to 30. Block 232, lots 1.01, 1.02, 26, 28 to 31, 33, 47, 49, 55. Block 233, lots 1, 2, 7.01, 7.02, 9. Block 236, lots 6, 18, 36.01, and Block 237, lots 1.01 to 1.04, 2, 2.02, and 4.01.
Okay.
This has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this, please come forward. Seeing one person.
Mayor, Council, just by way of clarification, and Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, at the planning board meeting, it was on the agenda. It got late. We were
Got
there
ran out of- it
until
was 20 to 11.
10:30, and we were able to listen to DMR's presentation for another redevelopment area, but not this one, and it was tabled until the February
Mm-hmm.
planning board meeting.
When's the February planning board?
First Wednesday.
Pull up my calendar and tell you. On my calendar, I have it for, it's actually February 12th. It's the second Wednesday.
So it's gonna have to be our February meeting, the 25th.
Yeah, because the next time you come back, you meet on the 11th, but
Yeah.
it'd have to be for the 25th.
Okay.
Thank you, sorry, Deb, I just noticed this.
Okay, so now we need, anybody else?
Anybody else from the public want to speak to this? And motion to close to the public?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any motion to table this?
Offer.
All in favor? Aye. So this will be tabled till it comes back from the planning board. Thank you. Resolution number 3-20.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 57-2019, an ordinance amending chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to remove a previously adopted handicap parking spot in section 49.2, parking for the handicap. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Motion. I need anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing none from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 57-2019 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 4-20.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 58-2019, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Parking to update pricing for the use of certain on-street parking meters and off-street parking lots. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Thank you.
Need a
The motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to Resolution 4-20, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 58-2019 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
And again, I just want to comment and, remind the city manager, I mean, obviously, we're going to need to put up signage and all of those things before this is implemented. So, I'll reach out about that tomorrow as well.
Okay, thank you.
The signs were made and they were picking them up today, so we realized that the posting of the signage has to be in, the meters have to be changed, all of this is in place.
Yeah, it's, the effective date is specifically February 1st. So, we've got,
We're gonna preload all of this, but it
Yeah.
won't commence till the February 1st. I had a meeting with Bill Daly this morning.
perfect.
Resolution 5-20.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 1-2000, or actually 2020, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to extend resident permit parking on Thompson Street.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 1-2020 as introduced is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on January 28th, 2020, at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 6-20.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 2-2020, an ordinance to authorize an easement to Public Service Electric and Gas Company over city property located at Block 303, Lot 5, on the tax map of the City of Hackensack.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed?
Be it res-
Oops, sorry.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 2-2020 as introduced is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on January 28th, 2020, at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 7-20.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 3-2020, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to add a new loading zone to John Street in Section 170-60, Schedule 11 loading zones.
Need a motion, please.
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None
I'm
opposed?
sorry, who seconded?
I did.
Stephanie. No,
You first. She first did, and I
first?
second.
Okay, don't
Okay.
take it away.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 3-2020 as introduced is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on January 28th, 2020 at 8:00 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 8-20.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 4-2020, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to prohibit the parking of vehicles on the sidewalk in Section 170-6 General Parking Regulation.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 4-2020 as introduced is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on January 28th, 2020 at 8:00 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 9-20.
This is a resolution authorizing the settlement of litigation entitled Lorenzo Lett versus City of Hackensack, claim petition 2017-34029, pending in the New Jersey Division of Workers' Compensation.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 10-20.
This is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hackensack authorizing the settlement of litigation entitled The Summit Church of Bergen County versus the City of Hackensack et al., United States District Court, District of New Jersey, case number 2:18-CV-08072-SDW-LGW.
Need a motion, please?
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 11-20.
This is a resolution authorizing tax refunds for duplicate payments, veteran deductions, overbilling, and state board judgments.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 12-20.
A resolution adopting City of Hackensack surplus policy for fiscal 2020.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 13-20.
A resolution authorizing transfer of the 2019 budget appropriations.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 14-20.
A resolution for authorization for adoption of a cash management plan, including designation of approved depositories.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 15-20.
A resolution authorizing the awarding of national co-op contract for the purchase of a Premier brush chipper for $69,557.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 16-20.
A resolution authorizing the awarding of national co-op contract for the purchase of a Vermeer stump cutter for $53,761.
Need a motion, please?
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 17-20.
A resolution authorizing the approval of a petty cash fund.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 18-20.
A resolution awarding change order number 2 to Brinks Tank and Environmental Services in the amount of $11,955.19 for the former Pistol Range soil remediation.
Need a motion, please?
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 19-20.
A resolution adopting the 2020 temporary budget.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? And Resolution 20-20, payment of bills.
A resolution authorizing payment of bills.
Need a motion?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Anybody have an issue with the consent agenda as it stands?
Yeah, you're just a member if you're not involved.
Anything?
Hold up, for a second. We just wanted to consult on something
Yeah.
here.
I'm a PTA for Parker. I'm on like a fundraising committee.
PTA raffle?
For Parker,
Is it a raffle?
It's a tricky trade, but I'm on like a fundraising committee.
I mean, yeah, if you want to
Okay.
just recuse yourself from the part about Nellie Parker, because again, I think just mere membership in a PTA isn't particularly an issue. I think if you're directly involved in the organization, then probably best to.
My kids went there 30 years ago.
30 years ago? What, you're only 40 years old. How is that even possible?
Yeah, okay. I wish.
Where's those library books?
Yeah. They probably
So
filled
we're-
them up in my house.
Yes, 2820.
2820?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't see anything.
That's it?
I think that's it. No, she's a PTA member. So she's,
Just pulling it,
She's just
voting
gonna-
separately like we always do.
I would pull it.
yeah, we can, there's no issue for Dave and I on that, right?
No, I mean, a
No, 'cause I'm
PTA is not,
involved in, like, the
PTA is not the
fundraising part
school.
of
The
it.
issue is that she's directly involved in the
The fourth grade
organization.
committee.
Right,
You know, so I don't believe there's any conflict. A PTA,
well,
just because you're involved in education.
my
doesn't-
wife works in Hillers and Dave works in high school.
Yeah, but again, PTA is not the school, right? It's a
Right.
separate entity.
Okay.
So I mean, it doesn't affect the terms and conditions of your family's employment in any way. I don't see any reason why you would be tempted to deviate from your official responsibilities as a result of this. The issue with her is that she actually is involved in the organization that is going to be benefiting from this in more than a mere membership way. So I think out of an abundance of caution, I'm assuming there's going to be enough votes. This is a fairly non-controversial resolution. Why take a chance?
Agreed,
Okay, that was it, just 2820?
that's it.
The following items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda.
Bless you.
And consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes, including any exceptions and/or additions. The consent agenda consists of Resolution 21-20 through 32-20, with the exception of 28-20, which is going to be separated. I'll just pull it out so I don't read it. Okay, Resolution 21-20 is a resolution authorizing and requesting the planning board undertake a preliminary redevelopment investigation to determine whether the delineated area of Block 313, lots 1, 5, 6, 7, 7.01, 8, 9, 10, 11.01, 11.02, and 12, commonly known as Banta Place, satisfy the criteria for designation as an area in need of redevelopment for condemnation purposes. Resolution 22-20 is a resolution authorizing accrued time payout of $79,432.31 to police officer Anthony Eduardo. Resolution 23-20 is a resolution authorizing accrued time payout of $156,562.32 to Deputy Fire Chief Charles Greco. Resolution 24-20 is a resolution authorizing accrued time payout of $9,515.17 to DPW employee Mario Candela. Resolution 25-20 is a resolution authorizing accrued time payout of $51,887.29 to firefighter Richard Kubler. Resolution 26-20 is a resolution authorizing endorsement of proposed Bergen County Community Development Grants for 2020. Resolution 27-20 is a resolution authorizing grant agreement with New Jersey Economic Development Authority accepting an Opportunity Zone Challenge Program grant award. Resolution 29-20 is a resolution authorizing advertisement of bid for Hackensack CDBG road program for Elm Avenue and Prospect Avenue North. Resolution 30-20 is a resolution authorizing the participation of the City of Hackensack in the interlocal agreement for mutual aid plan and rapid development force within Bergen County. Resolution 31-20 is a resolution amending the list of approved towing companies for the years 2019 through 2021. Resolution 32-20 is a resolution adopting the agreement between the City of Hackensack and the Hackensack Public Works Supervisors Group for the period January 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2020. We need a motion for this.
I need a motion to accept the consent agenda as it was read.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed?
And then we need a motion for Resolution 2820, which is a resolution authorizing raffle licenses for Julia's Butterfly Foundation, Inc. of North Haledon, Nellie K. Parker PTA, Hackensack Middle School PTA, and Hackensack High School PTSA.
The only question I had is, you said this was for Tricky Tray?
I believe so, yeah.
As it says here, because it's a different license for raffles and Tricky Trays, correct?
No,
They're the same?
it's the same.
They work the
It's
same?
the same
Okay.
one, it's raffles and bingos have different licenses.
Okay, I thought the Tricky Tray was different,
No,
all right.
No.
Yep. Need a
Offer.
motion? Got an offer?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Or the roll call, sorry.
Abstain.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Abstain.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims. Councilmember Pataglia. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, very good. Now I need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Anybody from the public would like to speak? Please come forward. Give your address or your name to the clerk, and you will have 3 minutes.
214 State Street, also regarding Banta Place. I manage 25 Banta, 23 Banta, 21 Banta, 17-19 Banta, 15 Banta, and 13 Banta Place. What I wanted to know, I just have basically a question regarding, I believe it was 21-20, regarding the rehab to rehabilitation, Banta Place rehabilitation to condemnation. I just want to know, what exactly does this mean? And how does it affect my project?
It's as part of the redevelopment plan for that area. We move forward with, obviously, you see that the city's being redeveloped. Condemnation, in certain cases, if it's for the public good, allows us to work with the owner of the property in order to gain access to that property for the public good to move forward with the redevelopment of whatever was going there. But it has to be something that involves the public good. We've never used it, never had to use it, because usually these things are always settled through bargaining between the developer and the property owners. But we have designated areas in need of redevelopment with the right to condemn. Like I said, we've never used it before. We hope we never have to use it, but we have to put it in there because it's part of the process in order to move projects forwards.
Well, I'm a little concerned because I've already hired an architect to rehabilitate my property.
Right.
So is this going to negatively affect me or positively affect my project on Banta?
I couldn't answer that right now because I don't know what your project is. It hasn't come before the city. I know that. Steve? No, I just saw him give Steve the heads up.
Oh, if, the question was, he wanted to know if this property would be affected on Banta negatively or positively, and it's part of the redevelopment plan. The reason why the city has a redevelopment plan is that we now study these areas, and we look at these groups and figure out what would be the best for the city, whether it would be open space, like rail. These are all considerations. And obviously, if you can't move a project because somebody basically landlocks you or stops you, we would be held up. These are basically tools in the toolbox. As the mayor stated, we've never used any of these, but we have to alert the public to this. Obviously, if you have questions about that, my suggestion is, Albert, raise your hand. That guy over there, you have a conversation with him.
He's a very smart man.
Redevelopment department head, and I'm sure he can fill in some questions of some of the things that we're considering.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
No problem.
Same to you.
Two.
Good evening, Carolyn Davis. I just have a question. Some of the residents had asked me to ask this question. On Anderson Street, where we have the metered parking now, there are old apartments there which were built hundreds of years ago. They have no garages. So for the people who may have cars there, is there any way they can get like parking permits so that they have to park on the street because they live there? They won't be ticketed because they're residents of those apartments.
I think that that's a conversation that you could schedule a meeting with myself and Bill Daly, and we'll have a conversation. I understand that there are homeowners, property owners, that don't have driveways and don't have any ability to park. So obviously, the city has, in certain areas, had residential parking stickers to allow this. So as we continue to update and change the city, we're in a state of flex and we keep moving forward. So I'm pretty easy to find. Just give me a call, we'll set up a meeting, Bill Daly and I will come down and we'll have a chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, Valerie Brady. I live on Hamilton Place, and I was interested. I had missed the FAA meeting about the Teterboro, so I was really glad that you, at the start of this meeting, happened. I was wondering how the meeting went, what was the general mood? Was there a good representation for Hackensack? I got the dates mixed up, and my husband and I drove up the next night to find out what happened the night before, but they said there was a huge turnout, and was it positive? I also am wondering why only about a third of the flights is being redirected, and maybe this is anything that you can answer. I don't know how much relationship you have with the FAA and the interaction you've had with them, and what further action can we as take. May I take one of the flyers and
Sure.
copy it and hand out my name?
Absolutely.
And then on a totally different avenue, Hackensack needs a city pool. You're doing all this wonderful development. My son comes back from Brooklyn. I grew up in Akron, Ohio. I went to college in Philadelphia, lived there for 4 years. Lived out in Berkeley, California for like 4 years, moved back here. We've been here we bought our house in Hackensack in 1986. I've been here, I just retired. I'm not going anywhere. I love Hackensack. I love being in this part of the country. A pool doesn't necessarily affect me. I own a cabin up in Sussex County. I can get out of the city in the summer with no problem, have a nice lake to swim in. But if Hackensack really wants to become first-rate and really wants to become a town like Ridgewood or Teaneck, you need a pool. I mean, Pagoda has a pool. When we were back from California, we lived in Pagoda. They have a town pool. Why doesn't Hackensack have a town pool? There's got to be enough land in this town for there to be a town pool.
It's not a land issue. It's really, the biggest problem we found with putting a pool in at this stage, I use the word grandfathered for all these other towns, like smaller towns like New Milford, Pagoda all have pools, Rochelle Park, Maywood have pools. They've had them for years, all right? To build a new pool, and the cost of liability insurance on a new pool is astronomical. And that's why we've gone to, as far as for the kids, we've already done 2 splash parks for them to try to, to create some type of water recreation for the kids. The other thing is pools, a lot of people think pools are free to the residents. They're not. Every one of those towns charge people.
Yeah.
And that's where we run into another problem, because we have a lot of residents that don't want to pay for the pool. They want, so it's, this comes up almost every year, the pool.
Oh, it does?
It does, yeah, this isn't new to us, believe me. But our biggest obstacle was the liability insurance. But, with the redevelopment, some things could change over the next few years, because we're going to be bringing a lot more money in. We might be able to do something. But I wouldn't, right now, with everything going on, I wouldn't say until we get all that money coming in and going. I don't know if it's feasible.
In the meantime, you can use the Hackensack.
In the meanwhile, we do have the Hackensack High School pool is open to the public for certain
Wednesday evening.
Wednesday evenings, for public swimming.
From 6
I know
to
it's
8
not the
p.m.
same as an outdoor pool, but it is a beautiful pool nonetheless, and it's warmer, and you don't have to worry about the weather as well. So, but that answers the pool question. The other, yes,
Okay.
FAA.
But just on the pool too, if you've noticed some of the neighboring towns right in this vicinity, they're seeing a decline in enrollment in their pools. And I think actually, was it Pagoda? I mean,
Bergenfield
Bergenfield
closed. I used to go to Bergenfield.
Yeah, I saw a few of them. I mean, it's just the nature of people and busy with their lives and, both parents working and maybe not being able to take as much advantage of it as they had years ago. So you're seeing kind of a decline in that in this particular area, so we're keeping our eye on that as well. But the splash parks were something for the children that insurance-wise, safe, clean, easy to maintain, and not a huge burden financially for the city as well. Yeah. Yeah, well, we have 2 now, and we're even looking at maybe a third, right?
It doesn't get to have a whole lot of people around it, but, okay.
I'll answer your question about the FAA real quick if you want me to. I was going to talk about it later, so I'll take the opportunity to talk about it now. Yes, I went to the meeting. I would say it wasn't really that well attended. I was there.
Really?
I mean, there were people there, but not to the extent that I thought there would be. Basically, my feeling, and I was there for 5:30 to, I think I left there at 7:30, it was over at 8, so I was there really the whole night. And it was a very positive vibe. I think that, they're still on target for March, the end of March of this year. And really, one of their big focuses was more noise than safety, where our biggest, we don't like the noise either, but the safety concern is the biggest concern we have here in Hackensack. But, you know, for noise, we're at the highest level of the spectrum. Their highest noise that they measured was the 60 to 65 decibel in this area. It never really approached the average of that, anything higher than that. And with the new flight path, it's a net positive output. So 2,100 people would actually move lower from that 60 to 65. So you would actually see a decrease in general, and this is throughout all the towns in the affecting areas. So it also proves that there was, you know, definitely a positive response as far as noise, even not considering safety or any of the other things. So it seemed to be a very positive thing, on track for March. They asked me specifically because the largest group of people, most densely populated, et cetera, is Hackensack. That's gonna see a huge positive effect of this. So they asked me to help and get positive comments. So it's very simple. Go to the website, click on submit comment, and say, you know, flying over 17 is a safer option. You're happy to see it happening. And as far as the 34%, I asked that question as well. Pretty much that's their starting number. They never want to set the goal too high, you know, the bar too high.
Oh, that's good.
But I think it's going to continue to be encouraged and continue to grow, and that is their plan. Right now, the only time they really wouldn't use it would be if visibility was extremely poor, so in bad weather conditions. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the end of March, and it would be great, you know, great for the city of Hackensack to see this happen.
Stand in my front yard, and they go right over my house.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that you just brought up about the notification as far as the meeting. The only way that I knew about that meeting was because I was trying to find out my new recycle, or my old recycle.
It's on the website.
You went to our website.
And it was on the city website.
Mhm.
If I hadn't gone there, I would have known about
Right.
it.
I announce it at every meeting, but again, you'd have to watch the
You
meeting.
have-
And
And you have
Yeah.
to come here. I mean, is there not a way that there cannot be some?
Ted, we were
funds?
going to do a nixel on it or something,
Yeah,
right? Or
we
reverse,
did.
didn't we do
Some-
something?
A postcard go out or something?
The FAA
No.
isn't always as diligent as they could be with this stuff.
Forget the FAA, Hackensack.
Mhm.
A postcard couldn't have gone out like, this is really important to Hackensack. There's gonna be this meeting, I mean, to
Yeah,
all.
I mean, I just found out, and I go to all those things, I just found out that this deadline was January 30th for the comments at the January 8th meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it
you know,
had been January 23rd, according to the website, so they extended it.
they told me January 30th at the last meeting,
They
so,
All right.
adjusted it.
yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
next.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Next, please.
Regina DePasqua, Parker Avenue. I see we're spending more money for remediation, lead remediation at the pistol range in Johnson Park. It's over 400,000, the contract now with the second change order, and we've spent money on engineering. And a lot of people have questions, you know, the cost of the lead remediation. And as far as the building itself, additional insurance, additional for heat and AC, basically the maintenance of it. And quite frankly, Mr. Mayor, when you were on this side, and back in 2009, when they were talking about putting the public safety building in that exact spot, you were against it, and your exact comments were, your concerns were the cost of the lead remediation, the additional insurance, and the cost of the heat and the AC. But that's when you were on this side. It costs 10 times more now than it did in 2009 to put up a building. But we really should have gone with one building and let the Y do it rather than just a soccer dome. We should have had for more services for more people. But just pointing that out, because I was looking up lead remediation and your comment came up in my search. And I thought that was interesting that you used to feel this way, now you're up there. But it still is a concern to the residents. Now, the last meeting I was at, the city attorney was talking about me behind my back in front of me, and I caught him on hot mic, he was talking about fee shifting. Now, in the Salkin case, the judge's order, most recent order, says, before filing a motion for attorney's fees, defendants are encouraged to carefully consider the demanding standard for fee awards to prevailing defendants. Encouraged. like Boeing you should listen to what the judge encourages you to do, like Boeing encourages you to use landing gear when you're attempted to land. The judge is clearly not recommending it. And defendants, the city is no longer a defendant in this case, so I don't know why the city attorney is still involved in it. There are individuals in the case. The board and the city were removed a little while ago, so I'm curious as to why the city attorney is handling it on taxpayer dime.
Steve?
I mean, I'll respond when her 3 minutes are up.
I
Are you
don't have,
finished?
you don't have to wait, I never use my 3 minutes.
No, I'll wait for you.
No, I'm not.
I'm not going to engage in a colloquy with you.
Doesn't
I-
matter,
No,
time's
wait,
up.
wait, it just went back and forth with the woman before me, but because it's me, you won't do it. I get it.
Feel
But
free.
anyway, if you'd like, I don't do that anyway. But if you'd like to answer,
Well, my only answer is that our legal determinations and legal strategies are not going to be debated at a public meeting.
the city's not a defendant.
We have confidence in our position. The litigation with respect to fee shifting, if there's ever a case where fee shifting is warranted, I believe this is the case.
The
We
city's not a defendant.
We understand it's, no, first of all, you don't know what you're talking about. And
I'm
second,
looking at the case right here, the city was removed as a
and again, we're
defendant.
not going to debate
You
it.
tell
You're
me I
not,
don't know what
an
I'm
attorney,
talking
and
about?
yes, you don't know what you're talking
You
about.
got the wrong
Let's
girl,
not go back and
mister.
forth, folks,
And
please.
so-
You got the,
and
you
so-
got the wrong girl.
And so the county is, I mean, the city is perfectly comfortable with its litigation position on this. We are doing things appropriately and ethically, and we will continue to seek to obtain attorney's fees back because this lawsuit filed against the city was a travesty. And so we are going to take every effort, no matter how difficult it is, to obtain what the city
much it
deserves,
costs the
which is our
taxpayers?
attorney fees back. Because Mr. Salkin had no right to file this lawsuit
You're
against
taking
the
this
city.
personally, aren't you? On the taxpayer dime. The judge
It's
No,
Mr.
thank
Salkin,
you. Thank you.
not
Mr.
to
Salkin's
do that.
fault,
Next, please.
not anybody else's.
The judge encourages you to not do that.
Sir,
Rich Serbo, 46 Spring Valley Avenue. You know, government is, I guess, an entity with an endless desire to just tax, right? Is that what it's all about? I think it is, right?
No.
That's, I mean, come on, really. What about these payouts? I just saw this now, these lottery payouts to our employees for accruing time. When the hell are we gonna discuss that and put a kibosh on it?
that
okay?
has been, I'll let you finish, then I'll discuss it.
Yeah, okay, you're gonna let me finish. Okay, so let's talk. There's so much to talk about, but we're muffled. We're muffled for 3 minutes here. So let's start by bringing up, when's the next election? Is it next year? Is it 2021?
2021.
2021 is our next election. So you'll have to at least answer to the public then, because you've just muffled everyone. You want everyone to shut up, shut them down.
Not true.
You do what you do, and that's it. Okay? That's what's going on, okay? All right, let's talk about a few things. First of all, last time I was here, our city manager was adamant about putting the traffic blinking lights on Spring Valley Avenue, and he says, oh, it'll work because they'll see it, and then it'll stick in their mind, so next time they come down that avenue, they won't speed. Well, let me tell you, they are speeding. Trailer trucks, cars, everything. So get a handle on that. Get someone over there to hand out some tickets, okay? Please. It's, you know, I'm not sure what that was, and what's the cost of that anyway? To put that blinking light trailer there for weeks. It was there too.
City owns it.
The city what?
The city owns the piece of equipment.
Okay, so what does it cost to have someone put it there and bring it out or whatever? Because it doesn't do anything. That's my point. So I don't. You don't have to mention what the hell who's paying for it or what. But okay, let's let's move on to some other things. What about trees? I noticed that trees are not replanted anymore. I understand that, the homeowner is in charge of the little piece of property between the sidewalk and the curb. But it's not. They're not in charge of that piece of property. And when a tree is taken down, it's not replaced anymore. And everywhere you go now, there's a vacancy of trees. There's no trees around. Replant them. It's good for the city. It doesn't have to be charged to the homeowner to replace that tree in front of their home. So, okay, it's so frustrating here with 3 minutes, John. You need to talk about that. This 3-minute thing is bullshit, and you know it.
That's it. That is unnecessary language in here, Mr. Sorbo.
Look,
you know that.
bullshit's in the dictionary, okay? So,
That doesn't mean you use it in a form like this. But I want to answer a quick question there about the payouts. These payouts that you saw tonight are from people who work for the city for multiple years, probably some of them over 25, 30 years.
okay.
Those deals were cut 25, 30 years ago for sick and vacation time. That's their payouts. They're entitled to it. They've waited for it all their lives. When they retire, I don't think you certainly would agree that you can go up there and say, oh yeah, we're not giving it to you. All right? That was part of their deal. It's almost like a pension for them.
Okay.
That said, this council, with new hires, made the maximum payout on sick and vacation time, I think it's $15,000 through their whole career. So we've dropped it down to, the most you'll ever get is $15,000 from people that were hired from when we got in moving forward. So we addressed that right away. But I certainly can't tell a guy that's worked here for 30 years, guess what, you're not getting your money, because that wouldn't be fair. That would be horrible, actually.
Okay.
And I disagree with you, the signs for speeding do work. They're proven to have worked, and unfortunately, Spring Valley is a street where people speed, and I agree, we'll try to get some more tickets out over there. And we do replant the trees, we replant hundreds of trees here. We have a shade tree commission which focuses on that. If you know that where a tree has gone down and not been replaced, call and let us know, and we'll see that it gets done. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Bridget, City of Hackensack.
Mm-hmm.
This is a rebuttal back to the planning board application. I am speaking as a taxpayer and resident of the City of Hackensack and would like to take this time to rebuttal back to the City Council meeting video from December the 17th of 2019. As I sat in that meeting and watched Reverend Davis bring to your attention about a meeting that took place with the NAACP president about having diversity within your city committees, she spoke on someone of minority applying for the planning board committee, and the application was denied. After reviewing the video, it was pretty evident by the comments and the reaction of the mayor and the deputy mayor, the city clerk, the deputy clerk, that the application was received, but the mayor continued to say that we've gone to the churches and so forth. But what really got me was when the mayor said, I know who that is. After saying that, there was the only receiving of one application. I know you, Mayor. You changed from a GOP in 2010 to become a Democrat. But that does not mean I know you. So, you do not know anything about me. But what I do know, this privilege thing that we try to exclude people is real within the city council. And I am here because I stand on the shoulders of my African ancestors that have shed blood for equality. And with that, I will see transparency within this city. Your deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Your deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light that frightens you most. Happy MLK weekend.
Thank you. I'm going to address that immediately. When I said I know who that was, I meant exactly what it said. I know who applied for that position. But the position was already, if I'm not mistaken, was already given to somebody else.
This council, with its boards, has gone out of its way to get everybody in this city of all races, all religions, sexual orientation, you name it, to get on boards, all right? The lack, ma'am, you had your time. The lack of people doing it is a problem, okay? It's a problem, all right? I had a meeting with Mr. Sims and the head of the NAACP, and the way they treated Mr. Sims was so disrespectful, I couldn't believe it.
He's disrespectful.
No, he was not. Not in that setting, he wasn't.
You should ask
Ma'am.
him why they disrespect him. You need to ask that question. Or do you want me to ask? Or do you want me to
No
say
back
what
and forth,
he
ma'am.
said?
No back and forth. Let me ask you this.
No, do you
Let me,
want
I
to
got
say
one
what
question
he
for you.
said?
All right,
He
never
does
mind.
not want to deal with the
Ma'am,
African-American
you're done.
community.
Next, please, sir. Thank you.
Period.
You're up,
That's
sir.
what he said. And the word that he
Ma'am.
used was a derogatory word.
Officer,
of
could you
what
please
our
remove
people
this lady
call.
from the chambers?
So come on, don't-
I'm giving you a
don't-
chance to be quiet, ma'am.
Come with the BS and the bull.
There's no bull here. Your insinuations of me, I find really distressing. Next, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm good.
James Irwin, 40 Jefferson Street, Hackensack. I haven't been in this room, this building in a while, but I was moved to come here, and it's funny, but it's not funny that I came in on that exchange. This is a very interesting city, and I love living in this city. It has multiple facets to it. And because of the buildings and the folks that live in buildings that may not have grown up here and have roots here, there may be some people that don't participate for whatever reason. I don't know who you have on your boards. I get your communication every quarter in the mail. I haven't really seen anything about your boards, any openings or any applications or what have you, any calls for people to come. That doesn't mean that you haven't done that. I did come specifically to see if there were any openings on any boards. Maybe not for myself, maybe for myself, but just to see what you have going on. But this town is very diverse, and if the administration doesn't reflect that, that's going to be a problem for people that live here. If you think that you've been proactive in looking into that and dealing with that, that's one thing. If it's manifesting, that's another thing. Going forward in 2020, right, wherever you live or whoever you love, we all have to work together, regardless on where you stand on an issue. If you're not trying for a common goal and being able to sit next to someone that you have an adverse opinion against, if y'all can't work together, then you're not going to get anything done. Y'all work for the people, and if the people say something and you're not either understanding it or you're not doing anything about it, then you're not really doing your job, right? So I'm here to say that I'm willing to help this town get better, help this city however I can. But if you have some issues that have been persistent and you're not addressing them correctly, then you're not doing something right. So I would urge you to come outside of your box, right, and look into some other things to help make it better for everybody that lives here. Thank you, and good luck to everybody. And I know it's not an easy job, but continue keeping up the good work.
Thank
But
you.
look to do better.
Could I get some contact for you so we can reach out to you for boards? Thank you.
To join any board that's on the website. So you fill them out, we start looking, so just give me your information, I'll reach out to you.
Good evening.
How are you, sir?
Good, thanks.
Good.
My name is Rico DeSantis, State Street. and I'm the Chief Financial Officer for the YWCA, which is domiciled at the building right across the street. We spent about $100,000 to relocate to this building this past year from Ridgewood and from Washington Township. We went from leasing one suite in that building to now we have 6. So our entire corporate headquarters staff is there. But what's there, and it's most important, and this is where I think the people have done the research about what public good is done by that space there, have failed. Because in that building, in that original suite that we have, is a program called Healing Space. It's the only program recognized by Bergen County that supports survivors of sexual assault. We have about 20 employees there that do counseling, therapy, accompanying services to the police department or legal services, whatever it may be for those survivors. So I think whoever looked at the property didn't really look at what actually is being done inside the walls. So I'm here to protest the whole decision of the eminent domain, the weapon that you took out of your toolbox, and I'm suggesting you put it back, okay? Because you're doing great harm to programs that are critical and by definition support the public good. Okay. I'm supporting the first speaker that came up, who is the proprietor or the landlord for that property. I am my organization is one of the biggest tenants there. And as I said, we spent quite a bit of money and work and sweat getting into that location and finally domiciled a place where we have our whole team together, along with the Healing Space program. So somebody's got to go back and rethink what actually takes place at that property, because they're missing out and they're going to throw away large public good. Thanks.
Thank you for your time. I'll make a quick comment on that. Our intent is never to lose a program like Healing Space or any other programs with the YWCA or anything else, but I will say this. We've had instances where we've had redevelopment done. It may not have been condemnation involved, but it involved moving of a very viable, successful location. BVMI, I don't know if you're aware of them. BVMI is now located down on State Street, moved to a much better location and a much better setting for them than where they were on Main Street. But it was part of a redevelopment project. So when these things, this is early in planning stages and nothing's even really been thrown in front of planning board or anything on this. This is just a study that was done and that we agree with. Certainly a space like yours would be something the city would work with to keep right in this area. And nothing may at all may even come of this. We don't know. But that tool has to be there in order to move forward, because you have to package it in all at the same time. You can't go back and add it in. So, keep in contact with us. I would definitely talk to Albert here. He's sitting in the front row. He's the head of redevelopment. Here's our economic development for the city. He'll give you a card, and he may be able to give you some insight on what's going on up there.
Okay, I appreciate your comments.
Yep.
It's good to know that you do look forward to making sure things get settled.
No, we
the only
work.
thing I would say is that-
BVMI is the perfect, and that was a large group. That was a perfect example of working with them.
Forget the name of the other organization too, that was where Main and Ward is, that's now here on Salem.
Oh, yeah, that's,
CompCare? Is it Comp?
might have been CompCare, but it was
Trying to remember.
another agency that helped people in need. They're still in town. We just did some relocating
Actually,
and
they're
stuff like
happier in a
that.
better, they're actually in a
I'm
better
sure
location.
From their story, you know that nonprofits run very thin.
Yes.
No, we understand
So-
that. Yep,
It's
we know.
not just the cost to relocate, but it's making sure that we don't lose the service that we're providing.
Understood.
Between the county, the state, and the federal government, we got about $1 million of grant money towards that program specifically. So there's a lot of skin in the game by various organizations.
Understood.
already in that
And these are
program.
things we need to know too, because we don't know all that going into anything coming up. But it's very early in the process for that particular lot that was just designated. But,
Thank you for the time.
yep, thank you. Anyone else from the public?
Go ahead.
You can't come back up. No, otherwise everybody else can. But you can grab me afterwards if you want, James. I'd be glad to talk to you. All right? Anybody else from the public?
Seeing none, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out. I just want to, before Ms. Cooper left, Tara from the library, our director, she's great about showing up to the meetings, but no problem. There's some good things going on over there. I just want to encourage everyone to check out the website. They have some new classes that they added for everyone at all ages. Their Friends of the Library Foundation is getting into swing, so we're gonna have some nice fundraising events coming up down the pike, and they still have their paver drive going on if anyone's looking to honor someone and buy a paver for the front. Definitely reach out, but check out the Johnson Public Library website. They're doing some phenomenal things over there, and they're still fine free, so I know traffic is picking up over there because of that, so a lot of good things, but just wanted to catch you, no problem.
And we're going to get you some
Oh,
signs
yes,
for the
before you
FAA
go.
sign up. Maybe you can help us to
Yes,
get
yeah,
some
we'd love to
positive
see
comments.
If I could just say quickly too, this was our busiest year in years. We had over 200,000 visitors in 2019.
Wow.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Good for you.
Up about 25% from the previous
Excellent.
year.
Awesome, great job.
I think, I would thank you too. Part of that's that the construction has died.
Yeah, that'll
Anyway,
help it.
thank you all for the support. We really appreciate it.
And Tara's doing a wonderful job over there, so we're lucky to have her. Somebody mentioned something about a pool. I think that we're open to a lot of suggestions. I mean, we're open to a lot of things and initiatives in the city and different recreation things that are needed. And down the pike, we can always get a pulse and send out surveys and see what's needed and what the residents are looking for. Look at the M&M Center this Saturday. Wrestling's hosting their first official home scrimmage, rec department wrestling. Saturday, 8:30, if you want to come out. This is the first time ever that they're using a recreational facility in the city versus the high school. It's nice because they're, not at the mercy of the school for closings for snow days and, winter break closings. So now they have a space to utilize, and it's working out well. So, again, we try to see what's needed in the community, and, down the road, we're always open to suggestions, but that's 8:30 this Saturday. Again, not to keep going about the FAA, but Deputy Mayor has done so much work, and everyone on Prospect Avenue, and really, really put the time in. This has been a long time in the making, years in the making. So we're in the home stretch. So to walk away now and not fill out the surveys and send in the comments would be, a travesty. So definitely, reach out if you have a picture, or take a picture of the flyer, post it on, I'm not on social media, but post it on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you need to kind of get the message out to everybody. It's important. Thank you to Mr. Pasqua for, bringing up the recycling coach as I was up here before I downloaded it. And it was, I got my little notification to remember to put out the Christmas tree tonight. So, I will look into that, make sure everything's the right schedule and everything's up there, and try to spread that word out. Excited to become a, veteran-friendly municipality. It was a nice honor to have a gentleman come here and recognize the city, and we're happy to do that and support adoption of the food and drink ordinance for the food trucks. That's a big deal. That was a long time and a lot of work by the city attorney and city manager and everyone involved. It was a long process, but it's finally here. And the community garden, the registration for the 2020 planting season's coming up. I think pre-registration will open up February 3rd for members that already had a space, and then March 2nd for new plots and containers. There's going to be 30 new 4x8 beds and 12 new containers and 60 4x4 plots. So if you're looking for a place to go garden, and we were actually speaking with the library and possibly the rec department and seeing if we could do maybe some pre-season classes and getting people involved, the seniors involved and the kids involved, and seeing, try to outreach, different areas to get more people involved in the community garden and planting it in general. And then the beekeepers were here earlier, and that would be a great segue in as well, and trying to educate, the communities about beekeeping. And that's it. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for coming out.
Oh, thanks, Steph. All right, I think I talked enough about the FAA, but just so everyone knows, they have quarterly meetings with which I represent the city, and there is one on January 22nd. These are always open to the public as well. They're held at Teterboro Airport. I don't think we're going to get a lot more information because they're not going to tell us much until after this January 30th date is done, but again, I will be there as usual representing the city. All right, a couple of things. Again, I always like to hit the highlights of things, especially anything that has to do with redevelopment and major change in the city. You know, Stephanie mentioned the food truck ordinance, and that certainly is a big step in the right direction. We're taking baby steps. We're starting in, you know, just a simple M2 zone and seeing how it goes. So I think this is going to be an evolutionary process. So until we, you know, we're going to learn as we go with this, because it's something that's very new to the city of Hackensack. So again, that's a good positive step in the right direction. There's a couple of things on here. There was the Prospector Railroad Avenue redevelopment plan. We've been talking about this stuff for a long time now. Part of that encompassed the hospital properties, and that redevelopment plan has already been finalized with them. This is the surrounding area, so you're going Prospect to Railroad Avenue, and you're going Essex to Beach Street. So that particular zone, we're looking now at different parts of the city to not just be residential, but to take advantage of bringing new businesses in. You know, now that we are going to have new places to live, we'd like to also have more jobs to support folks that live there and support our current residents too, and expand opportunities. So that happens to be, you know, some of the segments of our city over the years have evolved a little bit differently, like where you'll see commercial and residential kind of mixed into each other, and that was one of them. So we kind of broke it down. And areas that were residential, we're still looking at residential, but there are certain areas in there where we really want to promote commercial development. So we see new businesses coming and more jobs coming, and I think that's a great thing. Next thing, again, we've talked a little bit about this Banta Place, just to reinforce, the Banta Place is not a redevelopment plan yet, it's just an investigation. That's the first step. So we look at different parts of the city, and the first thing we do is do an investigation study. So the city looks at that and tries to come up with what makes the most sense to be in that location or in those locations, what types of things belong there, and what makes sense to fit in with the character and the rest of the downtown. So that study will begin, and then we'll have the output of that particular study. Also on here, we were very fortunate from the state to receive a $100,000 Opportunity Zone grant. Those of you that are familiar, this is a relatively new concept, and I think there was only, was it 5 of them, Albert, throughout the state that got these grants? So the city of Hackensack was fortunate to be one of 5, and there's 563 municipalities in the state, and we were one of 5 to receive that grant. Again, what are we zeroing in on this? To bring more commercial businesses into the city, to bring jobs into the city, to entice business to come here. And one of the things we're looking at specifically are life science businesses. Again, with the size of the medical center the way it is, complementary things to the medical center, those types of businesses seem to make sense. So this money, again, is grant money. We're not spending taxpayer money, and it gives us the opportunity to look and do research as to how we can attract those types of businesses here. And bring more jobs into the city as well. Let me see what else I have on here. Or from a financial perspective, there's a couple of finance things, and I usually talk about those as well. One of them that was a change this year, we have a surplus policy that our CFO introduced a couple of years ago, and basically what that means is we sign up to say we're going to always make sure that we have a certain amount of money in surplus, again, to not hit our taxpayers heavy should there things come up throughout the following year, not just spend it that year, but the following year, that there's a preparation. To maintain good credit ratings, they require that you have certain thresholds, that you maintain a certain amount of money in those accounts. So as of last year, our policy was, I think it was, we were AA plus, so we were like at 10 to 12%. We're trying to get to a AAA credit rating. I mean, even what we have now, the credit rating we have now is great. We've been moving up steadily every year in a higher credit rating. So this year, that particular surplus policy says our new goal is to keep 12 to 16% of the prior year's operating budget in surplus. So again, these are all very positive things for the city, that we're managing our monies. We had no municipal tax increase this year. We anticipate doing it again next year. And we're looking to upgrade our credit rating as validation and verification of how well the finances of the city are going. So again, kudos. We were. I'm trying to remember, Ted. Was it a AA plus?
AA.
AA. Okay. So AAA requires a 12 to 16. So that's what we're trying to prepare ourselves for that. So if we start now and change our surplus policy, we'll start to align ourselves with the stars to move towards a higher credit rating yet. So that's a good thing. I think that's all I have. Thanks, everyone, for coming, and have a good evening.
David?
I want to wish everybody Happy New Year. I started off New Year's Eve during the day in the Johnson library with kids. We had a countdown at noon. It was well attended, over 100 kids. Next, I want to talk about DPW. Last week, we picked up over 600 Christmas trees, and we will continue to pick them up. The trees are to be put out curbside on Tuesday for Wednesday pickup, the whole month of January. 2 weeks, we started Hackensack youth basketball in the rec center. It was a great day. We have community open gym Saturday and Sunday evenings after in-town basketball. We opened up 2 new restaurants in 2020, Sticks on Main Street and Taco Bell in the north end of the Target parking lot. Regina, I want to thank you at Recycling Coach app. Everybody, I would go get on it so you know when the recycling, garbage pickup, etc. I want to comment, if Mr. Carter from the NAACP said I don't want to deal with the African American community, it's far from the truth. I deal with the African American community 4 or 5 times a day, 7 days a week. So I don't know where that miscommunication came from, and it baffles me. This Monday at Mount Olive at 12 noon, they're having their annual Martin Luther King sermon. Please come out all. Thank you.
You said Monday, right?
Monday, 12 noon.
12.
At Mount Olive. Get home safe.
Leo?
Sometimes people say that we spend the money and to try to build this sport facility, but the only thing that I have to say, go Saturdays and Sunday to the M&M building and you're gonna see that the place is packed. You know, they not only using for basketball, but I see kids playing soccer. Right now I am helping the coach from the high school. Friday from 3 to 5:30. The wrestling group gonna be there the 17th and the 24th. So everybody using that building, and the only idea is to try to keep the kids away from the street, away from problems. So if we are working for years to try to get the dome, is to try to get the kids in a building where they can be away from problems. The more you get the kids involved in sport, the better they're gonna be. And not only that, but sometimes if they perform good, sometimes I invite coaches, like the other day was the guy from Fairleigh Dickinson, and they look at the kids, and if a kid is up to speed, sometimes they get scholarship. I got guys that went to AGNIT this year, it's 2 kids. One got a scholarship to go to Boston, $70,000 a year. So that's what we do as a coaches, John, Davey, Stephanie. We try to just keep the kid busy. But you need a facility, something that was neglected for so many years in the city of Hackensack. The paving program continues. As you can see right now, we are going from Prospect all the way from Passaic to Rose, and we got the plan to continue, weather permitting. We still continue doing the sewer and stormwater separation. We're spending a lot of money on that. You're gonna see all the work that we're gonna do in Main Street. I hope so we can finish that by the end of the year. Happy New Year, thank you for coming.
I do want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. It's our first meeting of the year. Tara's gone. I was going to give her kudos, but she left already. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Saturday wrestling. My grandson's wrestling Saturday too, so I'll be at both places, but I'm going to try and stop by and absolutely watch you guys do a great start in a great new building. I want to thank Kathy along with the rest of the council, I'm sure, for her work with the FAA. It's been stellar. Some of the meetings have been unbelievable. To look at FAA people would have egg on their face because they thought they were going to come in here and push the city around, and our deputy mayor held their ground and put them in their place and got us on the right track to get this flight pattern changed. So it was great. And I'm sure they know that she's a very worthy opponent when it comes to dealing with that stuff. And for those of you who don't know, Kathy worked in aerospace engineering for years, so basically she's like a rocket scientist. And she developed flight instrumentation and landing instrumentation for aircraft. So the FAA came in here and said, oh, we can't do this and we can't do that. And she pretty much within about 3 minutes, blew the whole story out of the water and got us on the right path to this happening. So kudos to you. Getting the food truck ordinance done was great tonight. It's very important. City wanted food trucks, but it's a slippery slope having food trucks, and you just can't let food trucks be anywheres, because if I own a pizza place and the pizza food truck pulls up in front of my place, I'm not gonna be a happy camper. So you gotta have some regulations, and we've done that. We've limited it to M2 areas, which is right now right around where the breweries are, and they're the ones who really utilize the food truck ordinance more than anybody probably, or will use it. But looking forward to getting these trucks licensed, inspected, and trying some of their wares as well. Earlier, at our earlier meeting, a young man, teacher, was here from the high school, and who is a beekeeper himself, about passing an ordinance to allow beekeeping in the city and becoming a bee city, which is, Ridgewood is a bee city, actually it's a bee village, because it's not a city. But the city's gonna be moving forward with that, to do that for educational reasons. We're thinking of doing hives down by the new community garden, which would be great, because one takes care of the other. The bees pollinate and the plants will grow. So it's a great deal. We're working on some new pedestrian crosswalks to do this next year. We're gonna look at to make some areas safer for crossing.
Not next year,
This year working on it, but it has to get in the budget. But a lot of people say, "Oh, put a crosswalk here." A lot of people didn't realize you just can't paint lines across the street and say crosswalk. You have to have ADA compliant ramps on each side, right, for people to go up. Very expensive. For both sides, it's between $13,000 and $15,000 just to do that. So if you did 20 crosswalks, think of the cost. So we'll be chipping away at that like we've chipped away at everything else. Johnson Park, yes, I was against some of the things that were going on there, but it was not a park that was going there. It was an emergency center, emergency response center, which also included a shooting range, which I was totally against having a shooting range in a children's park. I was also against it for the flooding, which we're taking care of that as much as we can for this new building. And the remediation, as it is, had to be done anyway, because it's so much lead in there that it's ridiculous through the years. That shooting range really, and that water will spread and it gets into the river as well. So it's something that ended up having to be done. Do I like spending that kind of money, $400,000 or whatever we spent so far on lead remediation from a shooting range? No, but it's got to get done. But bottom line is there'll be a new facility there that will take care of all different types of activities for the kids and for adults. So, and it'll be year round. And it'll be climate controlled, so that's great. And with that, again, Happy New Year to everybody, and see you in a few weeks. Yes, let's keep Emil in our prayers. Emil's Kathy's husband, for those that don't know that, but he's been in the hospital for a couple of weeks now. But he's getting a little better. And
Day by day.
Day by day, one day at a time, so knock on wood. So thank you, everybody. Have a great night and get home safe. Thank you.
Motion to close.
Motion closed.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.